if they were 2012, I had 5 seniors.
All 5 starters were
all
seniors?
5 seniors. The year before, I had 1 senior.
Yeah.
So I had the entire team come back, basically.
Which is why last year was so young.
Right. Exactly. Every kid on that team, we had freshmen and sophomores.
Gotcha.
And they did a great job,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect to really make it to the playoffs
Last year.
But they actually gave me an effort. And we
Second half of the season played pretty well.
They did, extremely well. We just become acclimated to playing and me coaching them. Then I figured out their strong points and their weak point, and I was able to use that to my advantage.
They're going to be pretty good in the next couple of years.
That's right, that's right. I mean, you got the shooters, you got the ball handlers. We don't have a height. Now, the only thing about Gerald High School is if you can coach height without height, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because a big kid really don't, he really don't fit in with me.
Right. Y'all like to move. Yeah.
And the average big guy don't want to move.
Yeah.
Especially if he's a basketball player. He's going to spend all his time practicing basketball.
Right.
You forget about the conditioning part.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are. When that lactic acid set in, you are worthless.
Yeah.
And that's what we prove every game. Every game.
Yeah.
But you got the room. We're going to make it run. You got no choice.
Right. And teams that are got some bigger players actually kind of at a disadvantage.
I mean, we've been in the state finals up there. That kid named Walter Hill. He's the best athlete in the Coliseum. And we ran out of motion, kept running the motion till we got a mix match. My little 5'6" point guard looked up with his big 6'8" boy. My boy looked at him, then looked at me and shook his head. Then went all around. Just crazy. See, in Columbus, Georgia at that time, the only place that you got your foundation in basketball was at the YMCA on Martin Luther King. And we all played basketball, but I was what they call a hatcher man. And I couldn't play at all. But I was always the first one they chose. The dude said, why you choose Gerald first? He said, you don't choose him first, you'll find out. And so if you did choose me, you'd be broke up. My brother and I, we couldn't play the game. We loved the game, but we couldn't play it.
Yeah.
So we ended up being the hatcher man. And what I remember vividly about that, we had a friend of mine named Kenny Hardy. I got banned from the YMCA because I broke his arm. and it wasn't a good thing, but that's where only way I knew to play physical. And I flipped the guy during the game, and they threw me out the door.
When did you decide that was going to be the identity of your basketball team?
It's one guy that let me know what I was doing correct, and his name was Gilstrap. Not Speedy, but his dad. We were talking one day, and he said, Gerald, he said, I'm going to tell you the truth. He said, I watch your little midgets play. And he said, I'm watching them. He said, just run up and down the court. He said, now, I don't know what those guys are. He said, but something told me just keep an eye on them. So he started watching. He said, and everybody ran with a sense of urgency, and they had somewhere to go. He said, I know that Duke got to be running behind each other. He said, that's why they pick change lane. He said, they feel the lanes where to do this. He said, oh, that's what they're doing. They just making everybody spread the floor and make everybody guard the entire floor. And big guys can't do that. It's funny to watch that 6'8" guard that 5'6" kid. That's no comparison. Well, 2 or 3 things we do. I never scouted a team. So if you don't know the team, guess what? Let me a surprise. And that's what we did. We didn't scout because we figured if we scout a team, it's going to make us change everything that we were doing. Because I tried that before, and it didn't work too good. So if this team going to beat us, they're going to beat us at our best. And that first night there, it was an eerie feeling. I mean, something I never felt before. We were late going to the game. Bus got stuck in traffic. We get there, and I don't like riding with cheerleaders. I told Coach Gibson, he was athletic with Coach Dimitri. I said, Coach Dimitri, I'd rather forfeit the game than ride with those cheerleaders. He said, Coach, just give me a chance. He said, I guarantee you won't have no problem. So we ride to the Coliseum on the bus. Nobody saying nothing. So I looked at my wife and said, people on the bus with us? She said, yeah. I said, what are they doing? She looked back, she said, they look different. She said, they're not doing anything. The only person talking on that bus is the bus driver. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. And when they got off the bus, it was like going to work. I mean, the children, it was focused. The guys got off the bus the same way. And we just, I mean, we watch each heart count. And when they got off to warm up, I'm looking like, wow. I thought we were playing a high school team. This team right here could be a junior college.
Yeah.
They were huge, they were massive, they were bugged. So I'm looking at them warm up, and I'm looking at them, and I'm going like, wow. I never told anybody. So I told Woods, and I said, Wood, what we gonna do with a team like this, we're gonna have to just dismantle them from the river. I said, we're gonna run them to the tumble out. And we did. The first half, we go 32 points. Halftime, they come back, they're dragging. So College Jones, my sister, he looked at me as a coach. I think they quit on us. This team too good to quit. So I kept telling Wojo, when they get within 20 points, let me know. Oh, let's go. We're up 30. Let's go. We're up 35. We're up 30. So then Wojo said, call a timeout, coach. I said, no, I gotta go call time. Coach, you got to call a timeout. I said, why? He said, because he got his ninth graders in. So I looked there, I was like, I had to call a timeout. Not actually in my bench. So the whole folk, everybody got a chance to play. And we still ended up winning about 30 points on the first night. And that second night was as if we were going to finish second according to the media. I mean, the guy interviewed me, and he interviewed me for the second place. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, what? He said, well, coach, you don't understand. East Hall has been here 3 times in the last 6 years and won. He said, coach, you have a monumental task there to do. I said, well, sir, did they play Jerry High School all those years? He said, no. I said, well, they have a monumental task right over there. I said, we didn't come here for second. That's what we did. We just go on. It's not the 2 teams left. The worst we can do is second. I said, but we didn't come here for second. And so then I looked at that guy. I said, I tell you what, sir, I expect an apology from you at the end of the game. He said,
did you give it to me?
He said, at the end of the game, he said, coach, I've never seen anything like it. He said, coach, I just never knew that y'all could keep that intense the whole game. I said, that's the way we practice. I said, if we don't do that, we don't lose. I mean, the big kid come through there, our rule is, if he gets position and he get ready to dunk, get out of the way. So he dunks, pull the rim down, and I said, now what's going to happen when he dunks? He's going to celebrate. I said, as soon as he celebrates, we rip. So the dude comes through, tore the ring out, bam. He hit his chest, bam. Before his hands come off the chest, we score.
Halfway.
Yeah. Then in the fourth quarter, the guy gets to the point that he's used up all his energy.
Have you ever talked to somebody about what you do on the sideline during games?
Well,
stuff like that?
if I didn't mention that, I had a little kid. I used to go to downtown elementary school, and we used to run an after-school program with them after we won the state. So they were watching the film on us, and the state doing it. The kid looked at me and said, "That's your coach." I said, "Yes, ma'am." He said, "Coach, that don't look like you. That's a different person." And then I had a kid in special ed one time to tell me, he said, "Coach, you know you're the nicest guy I've ever met." He said, "But when you get in that gym," I said, "Coach, you're a different person." And to top that off, my son, my daughter had son in Gerald High School. I always brought my kids coming with me. So son get in the 9th grade. Everybody, GT, you gonna play for your dad? GT, well, lost your mind. So he and my wife had talked, and I didn't know it till later. She said, "Mom, you think I need to play for dad?" This is what she did. She looked at me and said, "Well, if you want us to divorce, you go out." She said, "If you want to stay together, don't go out that cool." So my son, he was on the football team, the wrestling team, and track team. Over the years, you learn a lot of do's, don't, wills, and won't. And what I mean by that is that I knew that in order to play the game, the person that put the ball in the hoop more than the next one wins. But then I found out later on there's a little bit more to that. I knew you had to play a little defense. And the only defense I ever known was a 2-1-2. And my first group was Ferguson and Lil Mike and the Hill Kid, DJ, Tyrone Mitchell. So what we did, we came up with this 2-1-2. And if a kid started hurting us out of the zone, we call it man zone 1. Then if it's 2 kids hurting us, we call it man zone 2. And I would holler, they would jump to it. We knew the terminology with each other, but when I started explaining to people, guy told me, man, that's a triangle 2 and a box of 1. I do what? I never heard of that terminology. So I had to change my terminology from man zone 1, man zone 2 to a triangle 2 and a box of 1. So over the years I learned that, but I read in the book, it was John Wooden from USC, UCLA, and it was Michigan, I believe. They had these drills that they ran, and this guy said the way he wins is that he'll do 2 or 3 things better than everybody else. Number 1, make sure they stay in great condition. Most people train their condition pre-season, and they forget during the season you have to maintain, and they don't. And discipline. If you got a kid, and if you want a kid to develop a value, run the snot out of it. First of all, my kids run 200 miles. You're not going to run 200 miles and quit. You quit before you run the 200. You may lose a few basketball players, but you're not going to lose those guys that are going to go to battle with you. They're not going to quit. It makes no difference what the score is. They're going to keep coming. And persistent and consistent. That's what I call it. And my kids to develop that. The kids, they are a microcosm of you. The way you coach is the way you teach. The way you teach is the way you coach. Great coach, great teacher, great coach. They run together. And if you don't believe me, look at some of those people that always won. They had a lot of things in common.